I remember going to my first intersex support group and everybody going around the table and talking about their intersex history and what had happened to them, and that they had had surgery at a young age to remove any intersex differences to their body or their genitals and put on hormones, and how they were told never to speak of it ever again. And I just realized, sitting in that room, listening to all these people who had the same story, that this was the attempt to wipe one type of people off the face of the earth. This was a gendercide. If you didn't fit into the male or female, then you were going to be erased. And I also realized at that moment that my silence didn't keep me safe, and it didn't keep anyone else safe either. And that's when I became an intersex activist.
Something we've been asking our guests on this podcast to start us off is, what is something that's giving you hope these days?
That's a tough one. But I think for me, what I keep coming back to is we have lived through very tough times. And we were raised by activists who had lived through even tougher times. And I know that our communities are strong and resilient and very good at resistance, and we will come up with ways.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how hard it was in many ways in the past. I think that, when I was working with UCSF for the Center for AIDS Prevention Studies in the 90s, all of our work was actually, we were looking at issues of AIDS and HIV with transgender women of color. And all of the funding that came from the federal government for that was all for men having sex with men, because anything with transgender was not fundable at that point in time. And I think what we're looking at right now is somewhat worse than that, strangely enough. But I just keep thinking about how queer people have survived through all periods of humanity, and we will always survive, and we will always be here. And that just gives me the hope to keep going. And seeing younger people like yourselves doing this work also gives me a lot of hope. And knowing that we'll keep going, we'll keep moving forward no matter what.